which I brought my sunglasses today. As you can see, another beautiful day here on planet Earth. I've just been rereading something called the Gateway Process. It's a little study into consciousness. There's a few interesting things about this. Go on, wait, come on. Stop eating Poppy, come on. She's tucking into the fodder beets. Little delicacy for you, aren't they, young Popster? A study into consciousness. There's a few interesting points about this. One, it was from the CIA back in 1983, so 40 years ago. The CIA were investigating consciousness, and I'll get into that next bit in a minute. But what is quite matter of fact from this study, the Gateway Process, Gateway Project, I used to remember it as, but Gateway Process is what it's actually called. I'll put a link in down there or somewhere, but you can just Google Gateway Process CIA or internet search, whatever your preference is, and it'll come up anyway. It's just on the CIA website, it's not hidden. But they're looking into consciousness 40 years ago. They're looking into consciousness and higher states of consciousness, and how we as humans can access these higher states of consciousness. And the only thing I'm going to talk about today, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but it quite matter of factly states that time, I think it's around 10:30 on a Friday morning, time and space, this 3D realm that you can see, which is beautiful, it is amazing, but time and space are just mechanics for our human brain to understand, and forms of measurement, somewhere to be, a place to be, a time to be there. It's just ways of us gauging a start, a middle and an end, and grid references basically in the cosmos. But our consciousness as energy, which is our consciousness is energy, can pervade space and time. We are not bound by space and time on an energetic level consciously. Come on, Pops. Farmer's not going to have any crops left. Good girl. And that's apparently in the study. They said this is the easy bit. Now we get onto the fun stuff, and that's like, so that was the easy bit to prove that. Not a problem for the CIA and the physicists and investigators into this project. And how easy it is for us consciously to skip into other dimensions with the right training or using various tools like beat frequencies to alter states of consciousness. So we can put the body to sleep or at rest, we can heighten our state of consciousness and our awareness, and slip into other dimensions quite easily. And this is 40 years ago, okay? Just 40 years ago. What I find interesting about this as well is our body is nothing more than frequency as well. It's nothing more than energy. When you break it down to, the atomic state, we're just clouds of vibration, tiny little particles just vibrating and oscillating at different frequencies. So our body, as well as our consciousness, is energy and nothing more than frequency. Same as our emotional states are a frequency. So, if you walk into a room, you can get bad vibes off people. You can cut the atmosphere with a knife. That's people's electromagnetic fields from their hearts emitting frequency. And you can feel that physically. It's palpable in some people. You get people that you just love to be around. You really enjoy their company. They give you a lift. They give you an energetic boost. Yeah, we're doing the next field. Come on, Pops. And then you get bad vibes off people. They bring your energy down, like the emotional vampires. It's frequency, low frequency, high frequency, emotional states of frequencies. I believe that it's how we used to communicate before language, pure frequency, emotive body language emits frequency. Anyway, I digress. But if our consciousness can pervade space and time and flick to other dimensions because it is energy and frequency, then really there's no reason why our bodies can't do the same as well. In this particular study, they said that single pointed focus is what is needed. So as an analogy, the average brain kind of emits energy like a light bulb. It radiates out in all directions, generates a little bit of warmth and stuff like that, but it's more of a glow, radiates out in all directions, the sun, for example, like the light bulb. But in this study, they say that to get the brain focused more like a laser, so it's direct energy. I'm not going down that road, but direct energy like a laser focus to hone your concentration, to hone the frequency into a direct beam is how you skip into alternative realities and dimensions. My experiences with DMT and LSD along the way, maybe a little bit of ketamine along the way somewhere, but my experiences particularly with DMT and ayahuasca are very simple trips that I had. But again, it just comes back to fractals. We know about fractals, have done for fucking ages. But like what goes in, no matter how far a point, infinitesimal point of focus, you go deep into that point of focus. Next thing you know, you're coming back out from a wider spectrum. So it's constantly, you focus in, and it becomes the macro, from micro to macro. I believe that it goes both ways. You know, you go out, expands, and you go as far as you can before you're back to that singularity, that single point of focus. But I have moments, come on, Pops, we're doing it, we're going all the way, Pops. Come on. She's like, I don't want to walk down there. I don't want to walk. Come on. We're doing this for you. Yeah, I just, you know, our only limits are the limits that we impose on ourselves, basically. Physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. You know, we think we're governed by rules. We think we're governed by laws. You know, science, although it is there to be proven wrong, I believe science itself has been put in to limit us. Because science goes, you can't do that. And it is there to be proven wrong, so don't get me wrong. Quantum physics and all that kind of stuff is, you know, it's confirming all the old ancient beliefs, philosophies about space and the matrix, the divine matrix, the web of consciousness, etc. But they still impose rules. They say that everything is governed by rules. And that's the problem, I think, with our brains. We seem to think that we're governed by rules, that we can't expand our consciousness outside of this realm, that we can't move our body outside of this realm. You know, our bodies and our consciousness are the same thing. Our bodies, if anything, are an expression of our consciousness. Yeah, it's an outward expression of our consciousness. This is my consciousness physically shown to the world. Okay? If my emotional state were to be different, if I was feeling, okay, I don't know how long this video is, but I can give an example. So I've always been afraid to be seen, right? Not so much anymore. This is really good healing for me doing this. But so I used to hold my head down, my shoulders would round, and I'd be a little bit hunched because walk into a room, I wouldn't want to be seen. I just want to disappear into the background, fade away. So that was the expression of my consciousness, being hunched over. That has since given me neck pain. Shoulder up into the neck, across the shoulders. That's since given me, because my muscles across the chest have shortened, the muscles across the back had lengthened. That was my expression of consciousness. I didn't want to be seen. I wanted to hide away from the world. So that is a physical representation of my consciousness hiding away. Now, with a little bit of training, strengthening my rhomboids, opening up through the heart space, opening up my chest through physical exercise, as well as mental work. Not afraid to be seen as much anymore. Not afraid to air my views. I hold myself a little bit taller. Wish I was a baller. Shoulders peeled back, heart's lifted up, hold my head up high. That's my expression of consciousness, of being seen and putting it out to the world that I can be seen. It's a very simple example of how our body is a physical representation of our consciousness. But apart from that, it's just energy. It's just frequency. It's just energy. There you go, Pops, we made it. Well done. It's about bloody time. Come on, stop talking. Let's get back. Come on, let's go. So yeah, the limitations that we put on ourselves. Sorry, bad camera work today. We just need to let go of these limitations. And it's interesting that the CIA, of all people, were the ones that did this investigation, did this study into consciousness 40 years ago. God knows what they know now. I will do a separate video on that, about some other stuff which I've think about. But yeah, just let go of the shackles. You know, if you want proof that consciousness escapes this realm, if you don't believe in higher states of frequency, higher states of consciousness, connection to source, you don't believe that we can remember the future. You know, we're not seeing the future, we're remembering the future, because the future has already happened. Yeah? The past has already happened, the future's already happened, and the present's already happened. And it all happens just like that. So, let go of the thinking that time is linear. Time is not linear at all. Yeah, I think that's a different video as well. So just release your own limitations. Yeah. Let go of that, the rules, the laws of physics. It's time that we started to expand our awareness, expand our consciousness, expand our physical energies beyond this material world. And it goes beyond belief for me. It's a kind of an innate knowing for me. Can't know how to explain that really, but it's not something I believe in and I hope it to be true. Something that deep in my heart, deep in my mind, the pineal gland, I know it to be true. Sometimes it feels like I can almost reach out and touch another dimension. I could just put my hand through and just touch it and explore it. Dreams are our gateway to these other dimensions. I've been exploring my dreams recently and kind of believe, really thirsty now, that these are little gateways into alternate realities, the different life choices, paths that I could have taken, which is fascinating when you start observing it in that light. Let go of the shackles. It's time to set ourselves free from our restraints, from what holds us back. Much love.